Welcome to Study Loop.
All right, first question, 7, y double prime minus 2y prime plus 5y equals sine of x. And we're given the initial condition of when x equals 0, y equals 1, and at y prime, when x equals 0, y prime equals 1. So now I have r squared minus 2r plus 5 equals 0. I'm going to use the quadratic formula because I cannot factor. So I have the opposite of b, 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared. That would be negative 2 squared, which becomes 4, minus 4 times 1 times 5, all over 2. So I have 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 16 over 2, which becomes 2 plus or minus 4i over 2, which becomes 1 plus or minus 2i. So I'm going to start off with a general condition of being e to the x times c1 cosine of 2x, because that's my coefficient of I, plus c2 e to the x sine of 2x. And now I am going to impose y of x equals a cosine x plus b sine x. Y prime would equal negative a sine plus b cosine, and y double prime is going to equal negative a cosine minus b sine. And I'm going to plug that into my original equation. So I'm going to get negative a cosine x. Nope. Yep. Negative a, using my double prime, minus b sine of x. And then I have minus 2y prime, so minus 2 negative a sine x plus b cosine x plus 5y plus 5 times a cosine x plus b sine x equals sine of x. So now I am going to get my sines together and my cosines together. So my signs together would be, let me distribute all of that first. So I'd have negative a cosine x minus b sine x plus 2a sine x. That was a plus, another is a minus 2b cosine x plus 5a cosine x plus 5b sine x equals sine x. Now I'm going to get all my cosines and sines together. I'll do that up here in the right hand corner. So I have negative b sine x plus 2a sine of x plus 5b sine of x equals sine of x. So negative 1b of sine of x plus 5b of sine of x, I get 2a sine of x plus 4b sine of x equals sine of x. Now I'm going to get my cosines together. So I have negative a cosine of x minus 2b cosine of x plus 5a cosine of x equals 0. So combining my like terms, I have negative 2b cosine of x plus 4a cosine of x equals 0. So 2a plus 4b has to equal 1. 2b plus 4a has to equal 1. And negative 2b plus 4a, negative 2b wait, 2a plus 4b, 2a plus 4b. I have 2a plus 4b equals 1. And then I have negative 2b, and this would be 4a. Equals 0. So I am going to multiply. If I multiply this by 2, my b's will drop out. So multiplying this by 2, I get 8a minus 4b equals 0. Recopying my top equation, I have 2a plus 4b equals 1. So I have 10a equals 10a equals 1, A equals 1 over 10. Now I put that back into the equation. Let's see, I'll put it back in here. So I have 4 times 1/10 minus 2b equals 0. So this is 4/10 or 2/5. Subtracted from both sides, I have negative 2b equals 2/5. Negative. Multiplying both sides by negative 1/2. B equals 1/5. So now what I have is the equation y equals C1. That looks like an E, but it's really a C. C1 e to the x cosine 2x plus C2 e to the x sine of 2x plus 1/10 cosine x plus 1/5 sine of x. And now we have to solve for C1, and they gave us the initial condition of when x equals 0, y equals 1. So I plug in my 0. So I have C1 times e to the 0 cosine 0, because 2 times 0 is 0, plus C2 e to the 0 sine of 0 plus 1/10 cosine of 0 plus 1/5 sine of 0. And when I solve for that, I get C1, e to the 0, of course, is 1. Cosine of 0 is 1, so I have C1 plus e to the 0 is 1, but sine of 0 is 0, so I don't have a C2 term, so this is 0. 1/10 cosine of 0 is 1/10. And 1/5 times 0, sine of 0 is 0, becomes 0. So I subtract 1/10 from 1, and I get 9/10 equals C1. So that's going to go in for my C1. Now to find my C2, I have to take the derivative and substitute in my 1 for my derivative for my x, and 1 for my y, and 0 for my x. So my derivative, y prime, equals 9/10. I have to do the product rule. So I get e to the x cosine 2x, and I'll put the 0 in right away, minus 2 sine 2 times 0 plus e to the x, e to the 0, sine of 0 plus c2 times 2 cosine of 0 times 2 times 0 times e to the 0. So my y prime, of course, equals 1. 1 equals 9/10 times e to the x times cosine of 0 gives me 9/10 minus 2 times 0 plus 1 sine of 0, 0 plus c2 times 2 cosine of 0 is 1, so I have 2 times c2, plus my 1/10, plus, I stopped there, plus my 1/10. Actually, that would be a minus. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Cosine of 0. Oh, right, nope. That would be the derivative of sine of 0 plus 1/5 cosine. So this really is a minus, and this is a cosine of 0. So 1/5 times cosine of 0, which is 1/5. So now I'm going to subtract 9/10 and I get 1/10 equals 2c2 plus 1/5. And I'll make that 1/5, get 1/5. I'm going to subtract that from both sides. So 1/10 minus 1/5, which is 2/10, so I get a negative 1/10 equals 2 times c2. Multiply both sides by 1/2, and I get c2 to equal negative 1/20. So that brings me to my final equation. Whoop whoop. Y of x equals 9/10 e to the x cosine 2x minus 1/20 e to the x sine of 2x plus 1/10 cosine of x plus 1/5 sine of x. Ta-da!